So you've heard someone saying, I'm a project owner. You also have someone saying, I'm a Scrum Master. Then you hear someone saying, how far with the backlog? In another angle, you hear someone saying, this sprint backlog is too much. We can't deliver. What should we do? So these are some of the terms you should expect to hear in an agile environment. So do you know those terms? Are you aware of those terms? Don't worry, in this video, I'm going to take you through the agile, most common agile terms that you should expect in an agile project environment. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to cover the most common terms that you find in an agile project environment. So it's quite important that whether you're a project manager, you're a program manager, you're a project member, or even a portfolio manager, you should appreciate and understand these terms in terms of agile methodology. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Oscar Bira. I'm a certified project and program manager. In this video, I'm going to take you through the understanding of some of the terms that I used when it comes to agile methodology. So let's move on. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button so that you're the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help this channel to grow. It will also help this channel to produce more videos like this one. So in agile methodology or in agile approach, this is where you are not very sure, especially in terms of the scope. So the agreement or the approach is to make sure that you deliver as much as possible from the scope coming from the client or from the users. So what does it mean? I've seen so many project managers and even other professionals confusing what is agile as a broader term. They think when you say agile, you're talking of scrumming. No, not as such. So the term agile actually has got a broader meaning, and I normally take an analogy like sport. When we say sport, it has got so many disciplines. You have soccer, for example. You have cricket. For example. You have tennis, for example. You also have athletics as sport, for example. So this applies the same to agile. Agile is a broader term of being able to deliver the project scope either in terms of iterative or incremental. So where most people confuse when they hear agile, they talk of Scrum only. No. So agile, we have it as a broader name. Then you have your scrumming. You also have your lean development. You also have your extreme programming. You also have your Kanban. So it's very important to understand that difference. Don't always refer to agile as Scrum. You can hear someone saying, I know 5 types of project management approaches or methodology. Then when you ask them to mention those 5 types, you hear them saying, I know waterfall, I know agile, I know Scrum, I know lean, I know Kanban. So that confusion is already coming in. So there are actually 2 of them: predictive, adaptive. Adaptive is where you have your agile. Agile, that's where you have your scrumming, you have your lean, extreme programming, and you also have your Kanban. So you should know that difference. In agile methodology, one of the terms which you should be very familiar with is what is called product owner. So product owner, what does it mean? Product owner is the voice, or is the customer voice. A product owner is expected to define the requirements. A product owner is expected to prioritize the requirements. Okay, so after each and every sprint, it is the product owner who is going to give the development team what has to be developed next, based on the priority of their requirements. Remember what I have said earlier. In an agile methodology, you want to deliver as much scope as possible. So you start with the high valued scope items, going down to the medium until the low valued scope items. so that in case there's no more time or you have run out of your budget, most of the work is actually done, and the users can even actually see the work being implemented. If there are benefits, they even start seeing the benefits. So a product owner is the one who is responsible for the customer voice. It might be one representative representing so many. So it's not always like it has to be only one. It's one leading the team of customers, and then you have the other customers just below the product owner. So product owner is very important. They define the requirements, they prioritize the requirements. So each time you want to do for another sprint, it is quite important that you ask the product owner, what is next? They give you a list, and then you also move them to the next stage. So knowing what is a product owner in an agile environment is very important. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button, so that you're the first person to be notified each time a new video is uploaded on this channel. It will also help this channel to grow. It will also help this channel to produce more videos like this one. Then the next term you normally find in an agile environment is what is called product backlog. What do we mean by this? A product backlog is a prioritized list of requirements. So we spoke about product owner. The product owner will come up with the requirements, reshuffle them to prioritize them. And then that list of prioritized requirements in order of value is what is called a product backlog. It's owned by the product owner. Don't make mistake I've seen with other project managers trying to own the product backlog. That's not the proper way of doing things. It must be owned by the product owner. It must be reprioritized by the product owner. So you find that normally this product backlog, it's not something that is constant throughout the project delivery. It's something that is always changing. Say, for example, after the first 2 or 3 sprints, the product owner has discovered that there is another requirement that is coming in from any of the stakeholders. A stakeholder is anyone who is interested in the project, or anyone who is going to be affected by the project, or someone who is perceived to be affected by the project. If you want to understand more about stakeholder management, I've created a video on stakeholder management. You can watch it on my channel. I'm also going to leave a link in the description below for you to access it. So, a stakeholder might bring in a new requirement. They go through the product owner. They should not go through the project manager or Scrum Master. They must go through the product owner. So, the product owner is going to look at the requirements. And remember, Agile process, you don't go through the normal change management process. You just add it to the product backlog. And you accept requirements up to the last minute. It's different from a predictive environment where change control is very strict. So, the product owner is going to look at the requirements, reprioritize again before pushing them to or for development. So, product backlog, you must understand that it's not something that is static. Something that changes throughout the project until all the requirements have been delivered, or at least until there's a need to stop the project. So the next term that you should be familiar with is what is called sprint planning meeting. What do you mean by this? Remember I said earlier, product owner is going to reprioritize the product backlog, which means the list of requirements. So when they have the list of requirements, they give them to the development team. I'm giving an example of a software project. So they give them to the development team. Then the development team, they don't just take the backlog and start working on it. They actually have a meeting before any iteration. So before they have any iteration or sprint, they have a meeting to decide on which items are going to be delivered in the next sprint. So it's quite important also to appreciate that if it is next sprint, which items are you going to deliver? So in the sprint planning meeting, what is expected is for you to agree on the items to be delivered in the next sprint or iteration. So how do we agree on this? You convene a meeting that is going to involve the team, development team. It doesn't include normally the product backlog owner. It doesn't normally include the product owner, but you can consult with them. So in this meeting, you agree from the backlog, product backlog, and as we go to the sprint, which items are we going to work on in that sprint? So that is the main purpose of the sprint planning meeting. So then the next term that you need to be familiar with is sprint backlog. Remember, we are moving from product backlog. We do the meeting, which is sprint planning meeting. From the sprint planning meeting, the outcome of that is what is called a sprint backlog, which is a list of requirements to be completed in the next sprint. So sprint backlog is also very important to understand and to know, because it shows the workload that is going to be completed in that particular sprint. So it is also very important to note that sprint backlog is not owned by the product owner. It's actually owned by the development team. So like I said earlier, you need some iteration or sprint. It depends on which Agile methodology are you looking at. Are you looking at Scrum, or you're looking at extreme programming, or you're looking at Lean? You can use either sprint or iteration. So in iteration, it's like a fixed period of delivery of the backlog items, and in most cases, it's within 1 to 4 weeks as an iteration. So what does it mean? It means you have so many iterations in any project environment. So an iteration is a period of time you're going to deliver what has been agreed on the sprint backlog. And it's normally within 1 to 4 weeks. It's a short period, 1 to 4 weeks, to deliver that. So that is what is called an iteration. So you deliver whatever you've agreed on the sprint backlog, and then you come again for another iteration. Remember, the product owner might also reshuffle the requirements based on the value and also based on the stakeholder needs. So it's quite important to understand that an iteration is very important in every environment. If it was like a predictive environment, you could use word like phases. But in Agile environment, you cannot use phase. You use iteration or sprint. So the other term you should be familiar with is what is called sprint review meeting. What do you mean by this? In a sprint review meeting, this is where you are going to invite the client to see what has been delivered in terms of the increments. Remember, we spoke about iteration. Every iteration must provide some increments in terms of value or in terms of product features. And after every sprint, you now need to bring in the customer to validate and confirm the delivered increments before you move very far in terms of the features that are required. So you bring in the customer and the development team. Make sure it's collaborative. You bring the customer and the development team. So the purpose of this meeting is to make sure that you are involving the customer or the stakeholders all the way up to the end of the delivery. So the customer is going to inspect. You start by workshopping, or you start by presentation of what you have done in terms of increment. And then the customer can confirm or ask for some readjustments based on what you have done in that particular sprint. And it goes back again to the product owner, who is going to put it on the product backlog. So if the customer, say for example, they raise some concerns, you include them in the next iterations based on what is being prioritized by the product owner. So this is the only time you can showcase what you have done in that particular sprint. It can also give you an opportunity to proceed. It can also give you an opportunity to learn some lessons. It can also give you an opportunity to really understand what the customer is expecting. So it's quite important to always have this sprint review meeting, which involves the customer and the development team. Then, the other term you need to know is what is called retrospective meeting. So what do we mean by retrospective meeting? The development team is going to come together. It's like a post-mortem of an iteration, okay, or sprint. So the development team is going to come together. They also discuss what has gone very well. They discuss what has gone very badly, what lessons can be learned, what can be improved, how things can be done better. So if it was a predictive environment, this is normally done as lessons learned after every phase, or phase gate or stage gate. If you want to understand more about phases, I've also created a video on our project phases. You can watch it on my channel. I'll also leave a link in the description for you to access it. So this retrospective is more like a phase review of what has happened, so that your next iteration in the Agile project environment is better than the previous one. Okay. The next term is on daily stand-up meeting. I can tell you, daily stand-up meeting is very important in an Agile environment. And it mustn't be very long. I've seen some other managers trying to take it very long. It mustn't be very long. It must be within 15 minutes, maybe maximum 20, but 15 to 20 minutes should be done. And it must look at only 3 items. The first one is what was done yesterday. The second one is what is planned to be done today. And then the third one, any blockers or challenges that requires attention of leadership. Only those 3. Don't go deeper into details or on other things. Otherwise, it's not going to add value. So you bring together the development team, you bring together the customers or the owners of the end product, or even the product owner, so that they are very much aware of what was done yesterday, what is going to be done today, what are the challenges. And then it is up to the project coordinator or Scrum manager or project manager to make sure that the blockers, they are removed. As a servant manager, you have to make sure that the blockers are removed. So it's quite important that this meeting is actually done, to make sure that on a daily basis, you know what was being done yesterday, you know what is being planned for today, you also know the blockers and the challenges being faced by the team. Then later on, you can work on how to remove the blockers, how to address them, and sometimes how to resolve them. So it's quite important that you should always have these daily meetings in an Agile environment. Those 3. The next term is what is called a release in Agile methodology. What do we mean by this? This is like a merging of sprint outputs to be available to release to the customer, even for production use. Testing first and then production use. So it's a bit different from a sprint outcome. In most cases, you find that whatever is coming out of a sprint, it cannot be used on its own. It has to wait for other sprints to be run, other outcomes to be completed. So this is like a collection of sprint outcomes that can be delivered as one item for use by the client. So when you hear someone saying, the release is going to be done in 2 months, we are going to do 6 sprints, it means all the outcomes from those sprints, they are feeding into that release. Once the release is now forwarded to the client, they are able to test or even to apply it in production. Minimum viable product, MVP, is a very common term used in project management. It's a very common term used in Agile project management also. And it means a usable product with minimum features. Then the other term you're going to hear is what is called Agile Project Manager, or even Scrum Master, as an example. So the main difference between adaptive or waterfall project approach and Agile is that the Agile Project Manager or Scrum Master is more of working as a servant to the project team, which means mainly focusing on removing blockers and any challenges that might be faced by the team. They are a bit different from waterfall approach, where most of things they rely on the project manager. But on Agile approach, the team is responsible to deliver the work, and they are being supported by the Agile project manager or Scrum Master. So you need to understand those 2 differences. When you are a predictive project manager, your responsibilities, they are a bit different from when you are an Agile project manager or Scrum Master. On the Agile project manager, you are more like a facilitator. You are actually facilitating the team to deliver what they are supposed to deliver, whether it's a release or it's a sprint. So it's very important to know that. If you want me to create more videos or additional videos based on the concepts or the ideas that we've gone through in this video, you can reach out to me or you can let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching.